Good Wednesday morning to you. I'm Daniel Berlant with a fire situation report for Wednesday, September 16th, 2015, coming to you live from the CAL FIRE headquarters in Sacramento. It was a busy night for firefighters as we've taken advantage of the cooler temperatures across much of California, especially on the Valley and Butte Fire. That's where firefighters have continued to make good progress on several fronts. Now, zooming out to our statewide fire map, there are 10 active fires burning in California. Out of those fires, nearly 14,000 firefighters are battling those fires, aided by those cooler temperatures, aided by the higher humidity. That is really allowing us to make some good progress. In fact, 2 of the fires are now fully contained. Let's start right off, though, with the Valley Fire. That has been the most destructive fire of the year. The Valley Fire started near the community of Cobb in Lake County, and that fire has already charred now 70,000 acres. Good news here is the fire is 30% contained. You can see this fire burned all the way around through several communities, including Hidden Valley Lakes as well as Middletown. Those areas hit the hardest. The fire has spread into parts of Sonoma County. This is the area known as the Geysers, as well as a small part of Napa County, just the outer edge of the northern tip of Napa County. Now, there are still 9,000 structures that are threatened. So far, the totals of destruction from this fire have increased to 600. That's homes and commercial buildings. But that does not include hundreds of other structures like outbuildings, sheds, and barns that have yet to be counted and totaled. However, with the destruction already on the Valley Fire, this is now the ninth most destructive fire in our state's history. And when all the other outbuildings are assessed and a full damage assessment is complete, it is likely that this fire will be in the top 5 most destructive fires that we have seen in our history. Now, what happened overnight? Crews made good progress. Though this fire grew several thousand acres from what it was last night, most of that was here in the southern portion of the fire, where crews really worked hard with firing operations, actually in a controlled environment, using fire, putting it on the ground, burning out the grass and some of that low-lying brush to make sure that if this fire does pick back up, if activity increases, if the winds push this fire again down to the southeast, that burned out vegetation leaves it nothing to burn and hopefully stopping that fire in its tracks. So 70,000 acres, 30% contained. There are still thousands of residents that are evacuated from this fire. Now, many are asking when can they get back home, and we are hoping to get them back in just as soon as possible. But you've got to remember there are a lot of hazards. There are a lot of down power lines, trees, and other issues that have to be dealt with. Still a lot of hot spots. This is a large swath of land. In fact, almost 100 square miles have burned in this fire, 70,000 acres. So there are a lot of hot spots that crews have to continue to work on. While that is occurring, crews are still going around this perimeter using bulldozers, using hand crews to make sure we have good containment all the way around this fire. What we can expect later in the week, I'll talk about that in just a second. But I want to zoom out and switch over, now moving to the east, where the Butte Fire has been burning now for several days in both Amador and Calaveras counties. That's just east of the community of Jackson and just north of San Andreas. Here you can see this fire, definitely a large fire. I'll zoom out just a little bit more. So far, this fire has burned over 71,000 acres. In fact, 71,780 acres have burned in this massive fire. It is 45% contained. Crews are also, just like on the Valley Fire, seeing cooler temperatures overnight, higher humidity, giving that window of opportunity to make good progress on the fire. Crews will continue to be building containment around this fire. Many of the evacuations have been lifted. In fact, more evacuations in Calaveras County were lifted yesterday. So continuing to make very good progress on this fire. Now, there are still 6,400 structures, though, threatened by this fire. A lot of that is in this mountain ranch area, all the way to the east into parts of Calaveras County. Crews will closer to West Point is one of those areas. Obviously, our concern, we don't want to see this fire pushing further to the east. Now, the areas along the Highway 4 corridor, Murphy's, Arnold, those areas are no longer under evacuation or evacuation advisories, but that doesn't mean people shouldn't be prepared. That doesn't mean people shouldn't be ready. But right now, again, a lot of progress being made. Focus here on that eastern edge of the fire, just making sure that when the winds do pick up, that crews will be able to hold that fire. Let's talk about the winds for just a second. Across Northern California yesterday, we saw cooler temperatures, we saw higher humidity, both weather factors that are good for fighting fire. However, what we've been experiencing is gusty winds. Those gusty winds have continued to fan hot spots and flare-ups all across the fire. That kept firefighters busy all day long, making sure those flare-ups were kept in check, not allowing them to grow. So a little growth on this fire, but not much. Again, it is right very close to many communities, McCollum Hill, San Andreas, Angels Camp down below, but right now this fire concentrated here in Calaveras County, where crews are continuing to make very good progress on that fire. The other large fire that is burning just to the south over in Fresno County, that's the Rough Fire. So far, that Rough Fire has burned over 140,000 acres. That is making it the 16th largest wildfire in California's recorded history. Most of this fire is burning on the Sierra and the Sequoia National Forest. Now, the Forest Service has been making very good progress. In fact, 67% of this fire is now contained. So very good progress being made on many, many fronts. CAL FIRE continues to have a large contingency in the Dunlap, Squaw Valley parts of Fresno County. There were some evacuations in this area. They have since been lifted by the Fresno County Sheriff's Department. So crews making very good progress, but a lot of land burned and destroyed by this fire. Again, the 16th largest fire in our state's history. If you want more on the Rough Fire, you can visit our website at fire.ca.gov. We have a link to the U.S. Forest Service's website on there. So just north of Sacramento, up in Butte County, that's where the Lumpkin Fire has been burning for several days. The Lumpkin Fire is just along the eastern edge, the southeastern edge of Lake Oroville. This is Lake Oroville over here. This is the Robinson's Mill area. That's where this fire is burning. 900 acres have burned in total. I'll give you a kind of zoomed out view. Robinson's Mill right here. Here's Forbstown. Here is Lake Oroville itself. Oroville, Chico up here to the north. So far, 900 acres, 40% contained. There are still evacuations along some of the more rural parts of this fire. Crews, though, are making progress on that fire as well. Gusty winds continue, though, to be a challenge as they come up throughout the day. So those are the 4 large fires that are still burning right now and that have evacuations. But those are just 4 of 10 major fires burning across California. The good news, though, overnight, crews made real good progress. Actually, last night, crews were able to contain the Antelope Fire. That was a fire that burned 45 acres in Kern County near Antelope Canyon, just south of Tehachapi. The Antelope Fire is now 100% contained. Another fire that was contained was the Tenya Fire. That fire burned in the Yosemite National Park. Park Service crews have contained that fire now, and it is contained at 415 acres. It burned on the northern rim of the Yosemite Valley, just east of Yosemite Falls. Again, that fire now fully contained. So while we had 12 fires burning yesterday, we are now down to 10. Crews are making good progress. As I mentioned earlier, 10 active fires, nearly 14,000 firefighters battling those fires. So what can we expect for the rest of the week with the temperatures? This is a model from the Weather Service showing some possible rain coming in later this morning. You can see right off the coast in the Pacific Ocean some rain coming through. As I start that video, you can start to see that rainstorm starting to come in over Lake County. I'll pause it right there. You can see some possibly, maybe even up to a tenth, maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain across much of Lake County where the Valley Fire is burning. This is about by noon today, so hopefully we'll see a little bit of relief. Again, the cooler temperatures already happening, but that rain continuing to move to the east later in the day. We could see some rain by late afternoon up in the northern Sacramento Valley. It's probably going to go just above where the Butte Fire is burning in Calaveras and Amador County. So we're probably not going to see much rain at all down in Calaveras and Amador counties, but we could see some sprinkles there. But again, a good amount of rain up north. Here is Chico right here. We could see some rain, even possibly some moderate rain up in the Butte County, Plumas County area. So the Lumpkin Fire, we could see some rain later in the evening by 6 o'clock. Moving on to our weather forecast, though, for this week. Over here, you can see right now, Sacramento 73 degrees over the next couple of days, going up into the 80s, going up to the 90s. By Sunday, 95 degrees in the Sacramento region. So temperatures are on the rise. That means that we could potentially see fire activity increase. So today, cooler temperatures, but by the end of the weekend, we are going to see temperatures go back up. So What does that mean for us right now? That means we have to use this continued window of opportunity to make good progress on the current fires that are burning. Hopefully those lower temperatures, that higher humidity, and hopefully we won't see any wind. That will be enough of a combination for us to make good progress, building containment. When the temperatures do go up, if fire activity does increase, it'll be within the perimeter of those fires, and we'll be able to hold and keep that fire in check. So crews are continuing to do damage assessment both on the Butte Fire as well as the Valley Fire to see just how destructive those fires have been. As I mentioned on the top, they are now two of the most destructive fires in our state's history. In fact, the Valley Fire is right now the 9th most destructive fire. It could easily become in the top 5. The Butte Fire is as well on the top 5. It is the 14th most destructive wildfire that we have seen, with hundreds of homes and outbuildings destroyed there as well. Both of these fires were fast-moving fires. You had the dry conditions, and then you have to add the gusty winds that were fanning these fires, and that's what allowed them to be so destructive. Now, across the state, we are going to see continued warming trend over much of California. That warming trend, especially in the mountains and deserts, is going to be combined with windy conditions today. All of that will continue to raise the fire danger level from what it had been earlier in the week. So a broad trough is going to, again, bring some daytime highs that are a little cooler right now, but they are on the rise. So be prepared. The weather is shifting. What does that mean for you if you don't live in one of these fire areas? That means you need to be ready. You need to be prepared. We are in the peak of fire season. This is the period where we see the largest and most damaging fires. You can check out a great website that we have, readyforwildfire.org. That's where you can find all the information on how you can be prepared for wildfires, what you need to do, what you would want to take, and set those items aside now so that if a wildfire does strike in your area, you are ready to go. Now, for the latest on all these fires that are burning, and if you want to zoom in on our interactive Google statewide fire map, you can find all that information at our website at fire.ca.gov. That's the latest on the fire situation currently burning in California. I'm Daniel Berlant. Have a fire safe day.